Hello and welcome back to Merger Words. So today we are going to be talking about something that is changing the way we all work. It's a word that you now hear around every day and everywhere you go, and we are going to talk about how that is impacting MN tech specifically. So what we are talking about is artificial intelligence or AI, and how it is has impacted and will impact in the future, and how you can prepare for it accordingly. So let's start. So when I started my journey in after qualification in 2023, ChatGPT kind of became public knowledge right at the end of 2022, and in January 23 everyone sort of came to know that there is a thing called ChatGPT, and a lot of people started to use it. But for a very long time it was just a fad or just a new thing in the market, and there were not many uses that people were thinking about AI or in a ways that really changed the way you work. But gradually things started to shift, and in 2025 we saw a dramatic change in the way that AI was being used in workplaces, and now as we go forward it's going to be even more dramatic. And so I'm going to try to explain to you how things change in 2025. So around start of 2025, Big Four started to launch their internal chat models, generative AI models, and then they tailored it to specifically for tax. So I'll give you an example now. Every Big Four has an internal tax research team that publishes opinion papers and research papers, or provide answers to specific queries raised by engagement teams. That has a large data set. Now, if you are going to do a research on any topic, what you would have done in the past is you would go onto that research portal, whatever that is called, and you will search for your query or your section or whatever. Let's say, for example, you are searching on applicability of section 79, where the transfer is taking place of the holding company of the loss making company, or something similar like that. So you'll search for various case studies. You might find something very similar to your fact pattern, and then you will build from there. If you do not find anything on the research portal of your firm, you can go to taxman.com or TaxSutra, which has a lot of case laws. Then, if you are not successful there, in some cases that was also possible, you would go to commentary of Sampath Iyengar, and based on that, you will try to find some answer for your research. Now, what happens is all of these Big Fours are building a AI model or research model in which they have sort of compiled a data set of all the research that is done by the internal teams, these case laws from Taxman, TaxSutra, and the commentaries. And now, what you do is you straight away just type your fact pattern into that model, and it finds you the relevant documents for you to go to, and also gives you an answer. And then it's up to you what you want to rely on. You can rely on the AI answer, or you can rely on the research documents that is found out. So already you can see the time that it would have taken for you to research in the first and the earlier scenario versus now is completely changed. Now that was the first big shift. Then slowly you started to realize that, and also as AI models started to become stronger and stronger. Now if you have recently seen, Claude has released a model which works in Excel and on PPT. It's an advanced tier, so not available to free user. But if you have an advanced or a premium or a enterprise version, you will have those features, and it basically can make the whole presentation on its own, or it can make the whole Excel file on its own. You just have to tell what to build, and it can do it. It can do a lot of things in Excel. So we are getting to a very different stage from where we were a year or so ago. And continuing on to that, now in MN Tax there are various things which can be easily automated, and I will give you 3 specific examples and how they will be automated within a year, I would say, and then how you have to adapt to it. So there are 3 big things. First one is a tax opinion. Now, tax opinion is one of the very basic service that MN Tax provides. So what specifically, you have got various kinds of opinions. Some could be detailed, some could be much more challenging, but there are a lot of opinions which are very straightforward and which involves just a repetition of an opinion already issued in the past, and there are multiple opinions in the past. So what happens in a simple example is, you have a non-resident entity or a company which had bought shares of an Indian company, and it is now selling, and the buyer has to deduct TDS in under section 195 of the old act, and it has asked from the seller to give an opinion from the Big Four at why it should be at the rate, say 12.5% of the long-term capital asset rate. So the seller will come to a Big Four and ask for a tax opinion, and it will be a very straightforward opinion which will cover why this sale is why this shares was held as capital asset, why this is long-term capital asset, why this rate should be 12.5%, some analysis of the treaty rate and the income tax rate. There will be a fixed flow of the opinion, there will be fixed section that will be in the opinion, and there will be fixed case laws that will be covered in the opinion, and that remains the case for standard. So you have a standard template of an opinion. Only thing that will change is the facts of that specific transaction. Now you can understand it. The thing you were doing before was, you would have copied a lot of that opinion and brought into you, and then changed some facts, and that was it. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can go into the AI tool and give it the facts, explain it the transaction, and it will draft the opinion on its own, because it will have a database of all the opinions of similar transactions. So for a very simple opinion, you don't even need to spend a lot of time. You just give it 2 or 3 documents of the transaction, and you give some facts, and that's it. In 5 minutes you will have a first version of that opinion ready for you, and as you people will use it, it will improve, and over time you will have a very strong opinion ready. So already one of the activities that you do in MLTex is getting automated as we speak, and will be automated within a year. And this is for a basic or a simplistic opinion. If you add complexities to it, or if you make it a more complicated case, then there will be more to it. But those are rarer. These standard ones are the more common things we have in this world. Then the second one that we will have is due diligence. Now I've talked about due diligence in the MLTex course and what you do in due diligence. So due diligence also has a very standard flow of what you do. You have a standard checklist, you have a standard IRL for it. You have a lot of questionnaires that you ask to the target, which are repeated from previous DDs, which are common in most DDs. There are specific things that you check in every due diligence. Now, one of my teammates or junior had actually built a AI agent within generative AI model, in which he was able to automate parts of that due diligence process, and he built it in like 1 day or less than 1 day. Now it was not perfect, but he's a CA, he's not a technical person or engineer, and it was his first try of building a big agent. And so to think that he was able to get a very decent output from it. And this is just one of the examples. In our team, there were various other like things that they were able to build, which were beyond what anyone could have thought a year ago. So I will not give you a lot of examples in this video, because you will not be able to understand it without seeing those. But there were a lot of things which even tech people were like, what are they doing? Like they were mind blown by what some of our teammates were able to do. So how we proceed with the automation of DD? You realize that there are simple things that you have to do. You have to match the computation with the financials and the tax audit report. You have to see specific parts of the tax audit report and see if they are correctly captured in the computation. Similarly, you have specific things you have to look in, like you have to match the computation with 26S for TDS amount, advanced tax amount, and ASTS. So you have a standard information that is in the computation that you have to match with the either tax audit report or financial or 26S. So you know what to match and what to match it with. So you can tell it to the AI and build an agent around it and tell it specifically what it has to look for and where it has to look for, and it can do it, and it has become most highly capable of doing it. So we are seeing this. Then the second part is, once you have done the analysis, what you do in DD, you make issues, you build issues around DD, you build the report. Again, most of the issues are common. They have already been reported in previous DD. So what you will do here again is similar to what we discussed in tax opinion, is you will copy some other DD report and then draft it, just changing the facts. Again, when you are doing something which is copying paste, you can easily automate it. So what we will see in the future probably is, you will go to a portal and you say, this is my issue, draft a DD report or DD issue for this. Or you can give it a list of issues and you give the facts of the target and the buyer and everything else, and it will draft you a full DD report. And again, it's not happening right now, but it will happen very soon. And again, it will, just like opinion, it will give you a very decent report very quickly. Like already, if you use Cloud there, you know it can generate a full-fledged PowerPoint presentation in the branding you want, in the logos you want. So every other AI model will do that very soon, and all the big firms will have access to the best version of those. So they are going to be able to make PowerPoint presentations. So again, what you got, work that is copy paste repeatable work, and you were able to automate it, and now you don't have to do the work. You just need to train the model and it will do the work. The third example that we are going to take off is SPA review, another thing which I have covered in the course. And in that video I told you that whenever you do SPA review, you will take a previous version of SPS and you will look into that, compare the definitions, and then give your comments on that. Now again, in SPA review, we can automate this process, because it's again the similar thing. You look at the standard definition. For example, looking at definition of taxes, and you are a buyer side in a buy side SPA. You look at this in taxes, this tax should be included. You look at the version that you've received, and there are a couple of things missing. Your comment is add these two into the definition of taxes. Same goes here. You looked at a list of warranties and you see there are a couple of warranties missing, and you just draft a complaint, please add these. And you look at the language, compare it to the standard, to see something that is different. Now it could be fact specific, but in general it remains similar. So you can give a comment and say, oh, please change this to this language. So again, you have a standard list of definitions, warranties, a standard language that may be there. So this may not happen in near future, because SPs are generally, they are a little bit transaction specific a lot of the time. So a standard definition may not be there unless the firm overall agrees and says, yeah, this is the standard definition that should be there in a buy side SPA. So maybe this may not be completely automated, but you will, what I explained in the SPA video was, you will have a lot of the comments you will take is what was there in the previous SPAs that your team had done, and you would look into those comments. So what you can do with AI is, you can ask it to give those comments based on those previous SPAs, and you already would have a first draft of comments for you. Now it will not be probably as reliable as in the previous example, because it is a little bit more fact specific document. There are a little bit more sensitivity to SPA than to a opinion or a DD report, which has a lot more standard things in it. compared to SPA, but still at some point this will also going to get automated. So now your question would be, a lot of the things that we do are getting automated. So is there something that is to be worried about, or what should I do? So it's not something to be worried about, but it's something to understand, like what is getting automated. As I said in all three examples, the things that were getting automated were things which were already done in a copy and paste manner, which means you were not really applying your mind as much as in other tasks. Again, in DD you have three parts to it mostly. You have one part that is standard documents you take from the IRL, then there's review of the documents. Now that matching of computation will not result in a big issue. That will find out if something was misreporting, some big mistake that might have happened, but that is not a big issue, that can be corrected easily. The big issues come with the review of the financials, when you go into the financials of the company and you look for the specific things and compare with other parts, and then you start to think, okay, that may be things. So that is something that is very difficult to be automated. In that case, you can take help from with the chat models or AIs to understand the specific sector that you're dealing with, or you can upload the previous DD reports of that sector to the AI model and say, okay, briefly summarize me some of the issues that are normal for this sector. So before you start DD, you already know what you might have to look for. So what AI is doing right now is it is reducing your time and allowing you to focus on the most important parts and go directly towards that. Now that doesn't mean that it is not going to, that you should be completely safe, that it is not going to take away your job. There are a lot of parts that are getting automated. So it doesn't, like in corporate world, doesn't work like that if your time is being saved on one task that you are expected not to work for longer. That does not happen. So what will happen is that if a firm was going to hire 100 people, they would probably hire 60, 70 or 80 or 90, but less than that. So what we're going to see is a reduction in maybe the number of hirings. However, again, if you are good enough so as I said in many of the course videos, is that ML-Tax is one of the most creative one, is that it's the least standard practice. You don't really know what you are going to do unless you understand the client's needs and client's problems exactly. So what the three examples I gave you are very standard things that are normal. The point is that sale to happen, you have to do some kind of structuring maybe to get there. That structuring is not standard. That cannot be done by either. That it requires your brain, your ideas, your understanding of tax, foreign exchange laws, company law, and other laws. So just because some parts of the work can be automated doesn't mean the whole of the work can be automated. And this is where you have to get, and this is where the firm will also have to hire them, because if they do not hire freshers right now, they will not have the ability to have people who can deal with complex issue at a higher level, let's say manager or a senior manager, because they didn't have the experience and there are not enough experienced people out there. So the number of hirings may go down, but the hirings will not stop. People will still continue to hire freshers in the M&A-Tax, and same will go for other domains as well. I think that there will be some possibility of reduction in hiring, but complete automation cannot happen in our world. Wherever you require creativity, wherever you require more application of mind, at least for like next 3-4 years, I'm pretty sure about it. Beyond that, maybe there could be some other improvements, but at least for now that cannot happen. So what other things you should look at? You should really be good into, you should really make yourself comfortable with all the AI models out there, because that's a big push from all the big four firms. They are going big into AI and they would want everyone to go and use AI every opportunity you get. And there you can have an advantage to sort of stand out within your team. If you have a good knowledge of AI and if you can use it creatively and efficiently, you can end up getting noticed within your team quickly. And if you can present 1 or 2 quick solutions to your seniors, they might appreciate you. So get into it quickly. If you have not done a lot of use of AI so far, you should be going into it now. Secondly, you should also sort of see what are the tasks you are getting and how repetitive those tasks are, or how you can say is how much of that requires you to fully apply yourself and how much does not require. And then you can on your own try to think of, okay, how I can make this task, I can automate those tasks. You don't have to tell anyone else that you have automated those tasks, but if you do that, you can save your own time yourself, and then maybe in the future you can use that knowledge that you gain by automating those tasks in some other things in the future. So those are the 2 things that you must remember, along with the fact that you should not fear it, you should more so embrace it. It's like how internet came in the 90s. AI is this similar boom where it will, and we're also seeing similar bubble forming for AI where everyone is putting AI. It's kind of creating this bubble. Then we will have a crash in the market, and then we will see the real use cases. Similar thing happened with internet when we had a lot of .com companies come up throughout the end of 90s, and then the .com bubble burst, and then we found out the real companies that had the real value, like Amazon, like Google, like Facebook. Same thing will happen with AI as well. Right now there are a lot of companies in this space, but very soon a lot of them will go away, and then there will be a few left. So you should embrace it, you should learn about it, and you should be ready for it. So I hope you got something out of those video, and we are going to continue with our Embedded Text course as and when I've been able to make this video. But we'll also make other videos about this topic and about Excel and PowerPoint. Hopefully I will be able to make more videos in the future, so you can expect some more on this from Mergerverse as well. So hopefully you will be able to improve and be more confident in working with AI. So thanks for watching.